everybody, what's going on? This is Keeping It Real Fishing, and today I want to keep it real on the subject of bait or lure aesthetics. Here's what I mean, and we've all been here, anybody who's been fishing for some time, or even someone it's their first time going into the store buying a lure. There's two options, right? You're going to look at some baits out there and they're going to look beautiful to you. You're going to see something that's going to have this fantastic paint job or this reflectiveness to it, and it's going to look like a little work of art. It's going to look absolutely fantastic. You're going to be blown away by it. The question is, are the fish going to bite it? Now, of course, you don't know until you buy it and you fish it, and you fish it extensively. You know, you can't put it on for just one day, and if you don't get anything, because that could be any lure on any given day. But I think you get my broader sense here is that as a fisherman, we walk into the store, there's going to be thousands of lures to choose from. And the fishing lure manufacturers know that to keep us coming back, they have to keep offering new things. And not just new, but things that appeal to us. First and foremost, we're the ones putting out the money for it. Will it appeal to the fish? Is there any real thought process or R&D or science behind certain colors or paint schemes or flanges, gills, what have you? Is there? Who knows? But first and foremost, they want you to be smitten by it so that you pull the trigger and bring it to the register. So I'm as guilty as the next person. I have a lot of lures, way more than I need, and admittedly sometimes I'll go into the store and I'll buy something because I find it so striking. And I always ask myself though, I say, hold on. That looks fantastic to me. I like the way it looks as a person. You know, maybe it looks very real and I'm impressed by that. But are the fish going to bite it? And since I don't know, I end up buying it. And I test it out. But I just have some baits out here to kind of illustrate this point. Here's what lure that I would consider to be a very beautiful lure. This is a Rapala lure, and they really did an elaborate job here on painting it. Now what I want to mention here is that there are baits that are painted, I guess, with more detail, but with the Rapala did something very smart. A fish, when this is actually moving in the water, this mimics a bluegill more so than some of the other lures I've seen that are more detailed. Simply because in real life, a bluegill is not sparkly or flashy, whatever. Bluegills are, you know, their colors are there, but in the water they're generally muted. If you see a bluegill swimming around, it's not neon. And so this has that kind of realistic but muted look, and when this is swimming in the water, it looks pretty damn real. My success rate on this, almost 0. This one here, you know, you might think it's a good looking lure. I kind of think it's good, has a little bit of holographic in there, but to look at this and this in the store, I think one maybe looks better. This one here is kind of like I call it my go-to crank, my GTC. I think it's a Matt Zuo lure, I'm not even sure. I got this years ago, and this always produces. Always produces. Here's another case in point. Beautiful Yozuri. They do fantastic work, put together immaculately. This great reflective kind of transitioning, very natural, just a very, very interesting finish on it. You would think it would look just like a fish in water. It looked beautiful. Used it a few times. Now this one, admittedly, I do have to use more, but so far, nothing. Now here's one that stood the test of time, and probably for good reason. It's a jitterbug. This one, you can see how beat up it is. Look, it's all rusted. All this other stuff. I didn't even change out the hooks. You know, hooks are there. Frankly, they're getting rather dull. I just don't change it. This thing catches fish. Always has. Always seems to. Even the lip is bent. Probably doesn't even run right. But you know what? It always produces. Now, granted, these are two different types of lures. This is like a walk the dog, and that's a different type. But again, back to my point, something could be kind of unsightly to us. What's this thing? Just plain flat black with some big yellow eyes, and you know, fish don't even see the eyes. The eyes are always above the surface. Plus, they're right behind the wake that's going to be made, so the fish aren't even seeing the eyes. That's kind of just for us. But yet, these have produced, and they've produced for, oh, I don't even know, probably over 50 years since the jitterbug first came out. And then even spinners. Here's a blue fox. Has that little bell thing. If you remember the old commercials where the thing is coming through and it's like ringing a dinner bell. It's got this fish scale pattern there, and you know, a little red there, and the eyes and everything. You know, Real detailed, right? Plus the bell. Never caught anything on this, and I've used it extensively. This one here, Meps. I don't know what's red and white in the water. Nothing as far as I know. Yellow and red beads there, you know, just very abstract. I don't think, you know, people love to say what a bait mimics. I don't think this mimics anything. But you know, I couldn't tell you how many fish I've caught on this spinner here. Lots and lots. I have total confidence in this thing. Whenever I'm using this, I'm going to get something on it. So that's a big prelude to what I want to show you here. And you might be wondering, well, dude, like, you entitled this video that new Rapala thing, I want to see it. Well, here you go. I just wanted to kind of create something to stir in your mind, talking about beautiful lures, because that's exactly what this is. Does that mean, because I find it beautiful, and I think most people, you're going to be hard-pressed not to be enamored with this lure. It almost is not a lure so much as it is a little work of art. It looks like something you'd see in like a fishing art exhibit or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Does that mean it's going to catch fish? I don't think it means that it's not going to catch fish, but the point I guess I'm trying to drive home is that the most beautifully sculpted lure does not ensure that the fish are going to get triggered to bite it. As I just showed you, and there's lots and lots of others. I just have a few examples, and over the course of the decades, you know, going back, you know, years and years into fishing, some very plain, very rudimentary lures have a great success record for just making fish bite. But this one here is a gorgeous, gorgeous lure. And when I saw it in the store, I'll just show you the specs here, 3 to 5. When I saw it in the store, the second I saw it, I said to myself, I'm buying that for me. Like, I'm going to use it, and I hope it does well. It's so beautiful. I want it to do well, but I had to have it for me as you know, kind of a real fishing nerd and someone who, you know, kind of has a lot of tackle. I'm not a collector of tackle. Like, I don't buy historic tackle or anything, but I just saw this, and it's just unlike anything else out there. Let's do some nice, let's take a nice look at this guy here. This is in the smelt color. Okay, smelt. And this thing just fires on all cylinders aesthetically. The nature, the look of these little fins, the way they catch the light. Look at that. I mean, there they look kind of continuous, and then here, if I turn it, there's like that pronounced crease. Now it looks more silver and gold, going into black. You know, you can imagine that in the water, flashing like real fast, but from different angles, it's more subdued. Very much like a real fish, depending on the angle, you know, and the way light's hitting it. I mean, just look at that. But the thing that struck me the most, and this might be a little deep, I don't want to, people are probably going to laugh at what I'm saying here, but the thing that strikes me the most, obviously, as you can see the balsa wood right through it. They didn't have to do that when they designed this lure. They didn't have to make this clear. The lure would perform the same if this was clear, or if this was a continuation of, you know, the silver, or if it was white or anything else. They chose to make it clear so that you could see the wood. You could see the balsa, you could see the little striations within the wood itself. It's as natural as it gets. And to me, this is like a historical achievement. This is a perfect marriage of the most modern lure building techniques. But inside, the core of it, the heart of it, is the original lures, the oldest of the old techniques, carving wood. And so to encapsulate the balsa wood that people have been making lures out of since they started making lures, and to encapsulate that in our newest plastic and polymers, and they say, you know what, we're not just going to hole it up here, we're going to give you a window to see the inside, to see what's going on in there. To me, this is, so far, in all my years of looking at lures and fishing, I have never been so impressed by the look of a lure, the design of a lure. It's, to me anyway, it's the most beautiful fishing lure I've ever seen. Just just going to move it around a little bit here. You can see the way this thing catches light in the back there. Look at that. It's like kind of amberish and copper. And then as you turn it, then you start hitting that bright silver. Got that little gold up towards the head. Details, like the red. Little red there to represent the gill. The fin is raised and has a little bit of color in it. You could even see on the inside, you can see a little bit of the weights and how the hook structure attaches into the wood. You can kind of see it. The bottom is painted like a white, so you can't see fully, but as you turn it, you can see it kind of reveal itself. I'm just, like I said, some people are probably laughing like, dude, you're nuts. But I mean, I love fishing lures, and like I said, I started this off. We all go into the tackle store sometimes and just look at that lure, and we think it looks so gorgeous, so fantastic. That's gonna be my best lure, right? That's gonna be the one I catch a limit on, or that's gonna be the one I catch my new personal best on. You want it to be. You want to catch it on a lure that you love. And I sure hope this does well. But even if it doesn't, I just think that it's an amazing lure, and it's almost to me like a collectible. They're not in any short supply by any means, but just the craftsmanship on this and the design is, as you could tell, I'm just going over and over on this. I'm just so impressed by this lure. Alright guys, so that's the Rapala BX Minnow, and this has just been a video on lure aesthetics and what makes us get hot for a certain type of lure. I'll also note that there is a swimming version. It's jointed, right about there. Just look online, you'll see it. And that one, if you like the look of this lure, if you're kind of a lure geek like me, and if you are really just into being able to see the insides and everything else here, the quality of craftsmanship and all that stuff. The jointed one is appreciably larger. It's a little bit, I think, a ½ inch longer, and it's just a little bit wider and everything. And you could see even more. There's even more exposure of the wood and everything. And I was this close to getting it, but I just know for how I fished, this smaller one was the better choice in terms of fishing. That jointed one, though, if you think this looks good, the jointed one looks even more fantastic. Alright everybody, it's been the Rapala BX Minnow. Thanks.